The ceiling fans? They're very attractive.
Yeah, what are you doing? Don't even think about it. Get out of here. I saw what you did in the pew. Yeah. The vermin. Go, you're disgusting. Every one of you. Get out of here. Only boys do that. What do? You look like Mr. Burns. And so do you. I gotta get a new gig.
Satellite tracking continues.
The Incredible Hulk will not be presented this evening.
Get ready, so get set, so hang on, so buckle up, so sit tight, so strap yourself in, so brace yourself, so keep your eyes open, so fasten your seatbelt, so stick around, so hang on, so get ready. You just have to be ready. Brace yourself. What you're about to see will open your eyes. The surprises never stop. So
Clickety-click.
Crank up the music. Keep an eye on the back.
This presentation is provided to you to amuse or entertain and not to conform or inform. The content on this channel should not be used to replace professional, financial, medical, or legal advice. All footage taken and used from public sources falls under the fair use of the Digital Millennial Copyright Act of 1998. Therefore, no breach of privacy or copyright has been committed. This show is substantially sourced, not affiliated with any community, club, fraternity, or gang. Your cat may vary. I say, moo. Ceiling fan man fun fact. If you prove yourself worthless, no one can take advantage of you.
Satellite tracking continues.
Wow. Wow. Hey, everybody. Whoop, whoop. It's Friday night. We're live. We're doing it live. We're doing it live. And yeah. And so we made it. We're all on the right side of the grass. Pat yourself on the back. It's quite an accomplishment. So congratulations, everyone that made it. And let's see. Let me find the right button here. It's this one, so I can be seen by you all.
Clickety click.
There it is. Hey, everybody. Good to be seen by you all tonight. I kind of took a week off, but not really. My life has just gotten really busy. And so I put together a show last week that was like a clip show. And then it ended with Stephen and I doing it was the very first Bible study that we did together. If you haven't seen it, they're a good watch. They're called The Perspective. They're on my channel. It's a whole bunch of them. I think we did like 14 of them before he took a really long break. So, yeah, so and then tonight, I didn't even know if I was going to do a show. And then one of the things that happened is whenever I'm struggling, like to try to put something together, because life's been really busy, my actual real life. And I didn't even think I'd get on tonight and have enough to talk about. So what I do, I make this emergency call to my sister from another mister, and that would be Jen. Jen, to you. And
what's up, guys?
Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I was just telling the audience, I'm sure as you heard that, man, it's like I have some tabs, and then of course I have a bunch of melted pictures. I like showing those lately, but I just really didn't have time to put things together tonight. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just bail on the show. But I hate doing that. Not that it's that important of a show, but look, there's 83 people here listening, waiting to hear something important or funny or I don't know, or stupid or all three of them. And so here we are. Oh, wait, I said it, so I get to play it. Wherever she is. And so here we are.
And so here we are.
Here we are. Clickety click. Yeah, I mean, life happens, sometimes. This is why I've never nailed myself down to one particular day a week doing shows. I have thought about it. I have had people, ask me to do that and I know that my schedule can get wonky, so I don't want to be disappointed or disappoint anybody. I just do them when I can. And right now I'm taking a break. So.
And I appreciate you coming
Much
off your break to
needed,
come on
long overdue break, I must say, because I've been going hard at this for over 7 years straight.
That's very true.
And
Right.
7 channels later.
Right. And I've been with
Just
you
on
though.
YouTube.
I've been with you the whole way, and I've been doing my
Yeah.
own thing for like over 4 years or so every Friday night. And I'm not, wah, woes me, but it is taxing, and especially with, I mean, literally, I like to like go over the things in the news, and there's really been nothing in the news except Trump visiting the Prince of Saudis and whatever, but that's about it. There's like nothing going on, and so
Right.
it's really hard. I'm scraping the bottle of the well, I don't know, the barrel, the cookie dough, whatever. It's like it's getting to the bottom there, and but I think we have plenty to entertain the masses for a little while. And now that you're here, that's really going to be able to stretch it out easy. So
At the very least, they'll enjoy our banter.
there you go. Our witty banter. Exactly. Shoot. So, and then it's like I put that clip show together for last week because I couldn't do a live. I was in the chat. We had a live chat. It was fun. And that was that show I did, the game show with you and
that was so much fun watching that. That's really the first time I've ever watched it, I think. And it was like, wow, we had so much fun.
Yeah, and it's funny because I was watching it and I wrote the game, and I was getting them wrong because I've never met anyone that got every one of them right. You know what I mean? And,
right. Well, it's a tough one, that game. Yeah.
And I was laughing at the jokes and some of the things I even said. I'm like, wow, that was really funny.
Yeah. Oh, no, I know. Sometimes I listen to myself on my shows. And I'm like, man, I start cracking up. I'm like, I cracked myself up.
Yeah, right.
I have my moments.
And there was quite a few colorful words in that episode.
Yes, I apologize. But Brian was on, so there's that.
Yeah, true. And it was like, how many years ago? It was during the 2020 nonsense. So it was a late night show, and everyone was having tossing down a few beers or something, So we were all kind of getting
a little looser back then.
A little looser tongues. So and it was really funny because I watched it, and a part of it, and you had dropped a really colorful world, and you like said those people are and so I actually edited it, and I put in a honk noise, and I took out your cuss word there, but then I didn't watch the rest of it, and there was like 10 times more worse than, so whatever.
Not just for me though.
It wasn't just from you, absolutely not. No, it was some were from me even, I think. I think Steve was.
You had this thick beard. You were really tan. I think you had a little more hair on your head back then. Just saying.
Hey. Yeah, well, it is what it is. So.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so I put that thing together, and then what does YouTube do? I call it the yellow card, because if you're monetized, we get a little bit of money from all the people complain. I know there's a lot of ads, but I don't decide where they put them. And some people get none and some people get all of them. I don't know how it works. The algorithm figures it out.
Depends on where you're located.
Right. And so there was ads on it. But the thing is right after the show, they hit me with the yellow card. And the yellow card says, you can't monetize this because we found content that's not eligible. And I was like, there was nothing in that show. We didn't talk about any dangerous subjects whatsoever. Whatever that we had, I had already edited out. And so, of course, I put in for a review. Well, you know what they waited, Jen? They waited an entire week. Well, meanwhile, yeah. So I'd gotten 1,200 views. Wow. And by the time they came around and said, okay, we think it's all right. Well, it's over. Like, no, they're not going to get that many more views. I got like $7 out of it. It's like, it's nuts.
Wow.
I don't get that much from them, but $7 is like.
You were quite a dangerous combination back then. Even till this day, we're still a threat.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's exasperating sometimes. I don't do it to make money, obviously, but it's nice to have some money to pay for like StreamYard and all these things, whatever. And so,
StreamYard has had an increase recently.
Yeah.
I used to use the free version, but then I was doing streams so often with Steve, and I needed more storage and stuff for things I wanted to do. So. But there is a free version, but yeah, it's gone up. So, it all helps to keep the show going and stuff like that. It's sometimes out of pocket, is fine, and sometimes you need a little help, and it's nice to have that. Nothing wrong with that.
So it's like I've been doing every single Friday for a while, and it's like you. I feel exhausted on this, and so I was like literally an hour away from not doing a show, and I said, "Oh well, let's do one." Called Jen up. She said, "I'll help you." So here we are, and we'll put something together, and everyone will be having a good time, and maybe we'll all learn something along the way. So.
Red Storm said I was being mean to you saying that. I wasn't being mean. I was being real.
Mean to me? I didn't even know what you said. She says things all the time. I
think when I was talking about you had a little less hair back then or something, or now.
Oh, that's fine. I
hope that's what she meant. If not, I apologize.
It's
fine.
True.
It's
not
a lie.
It's true. It's not a lie. No, it is what it is. I'm aging gracefully, so there.
I think you look handsome either way. The point is Jeannie's still around. That's the point.
Yeah, right. As long as Jeannie's happy, then everyone else is happy.
Oh my gosh, I love you, Red Storm, and I love you, CFM, and I love you, Jeannie.
True. Yep. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So she's not here right now. We were watching her grandkids today, and so she's dumping them off back at their parents. So things are quiet here now. So that was another thing that made it really difficult to do this, but we'll figure this out and we'll have some fun here.
That's right.
Okay.
Always have fun.
Right? Okay. Let's see. Let me click on here. And where should we start? Well, it's interesting. Just as I was going to go on air, there was more weather happening.
Crazy weather going on.
This is in St. Louis. Apparently, this just happened. They had a tornado.
I'm scared to go home. I'm scared to go home.
That's nuts.
Yeah, especially when it comes in, wipes out everything, and then it's a beautiful sunny day afterwards.
Yeah, right. Like if you were gone for like an hour and you come home and you're like, "What in the heck?"
Yeah.
That's crazy. Thank God
St.
we don't
Louis,
have
they have that arch, don't they? Don't they have the St. Louis arch?
Yeah.
Because there used to be some kind of conspiracy theory that arch thing was actually some kind of weather, like to protect them from tornadoes and stuff. Like it was disguised as an arch, but it was really something that like kind of repelled storms coming their way. Obviously, it's not true because they just had a tornado unless they turned the arch off or something.
Yeah, right.
I don't really hear them having tornadoes very often.
I guess they're doing it wrong if that thing's supposed
I guess, maybe.
And then
they didn't read the instructions correctly. Somebody's getting fired.
Oh, where should I find that? Oh God, where is she?
Somebody's definitely getting fired.
Fired over this, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Totally.
And I'm sure there's smarter people in the audience and they can explain it to me, but I love looking at things that try to disprove gravity. I was talking to
you can't prove gravity; it's a theory.
Right? And I was talking to my stepson because we discussed this. I think it was 2 weeks ago on the show, or I did. I don't know. And they tell us that the moon's gravity. Here, let me get this off screen for a second. Where are you all? This one. They tell us that the moon's gravity affects the tides on Earth, right? They tell us. Yeah, and it affects the women's tides too, apparently, supposedly.
That's what they say.
So the moon has so much control from its gravitational pull it affects the tides. At the same time, the only reason the moon is circling the Earth, allegedly, is because of the Earth's gravity. So if the Earth is pulling the moon in and the moon is pulling against the Earth, why haven't we collided yet? Huh? What's going on?
It's a symbiotic relationship.
Was that?
It's like this. It's like woo, woo, right? As it's spinning, but the moon doesn't spin. The moon is the only thing in our supposed solar system that does not spin, people. Okay?
Yeah, the moon doesn't spin.
That's a problem. Secondly, we're zipping around with the sun, following the sun around this giant galaxy. So not only are we following the sun and spinning and wooey with all this stuff with the moon and stuff. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, and I have a visual of that. You want to see that? That's how we go around the sun and the moon and the stars. Here. this. I don't believe I live on a cartoon ball that flies through space the way that they say on this ridiculous model. We need to all realize that we've been lied to.
Satellite tracking continues.
Yeah. And that's going way back with my kick-ass beard. I think I had birds in it at one point. So, yeah, that's what they say. And yet we still see the same stars as we've seen throughout history. You know,
Yes.
you can pilot boats by stars. And yet, you know, why aren't we seeing different stars every time we spin around? And it gets exasperating, doesn't it? Trying to explain people.
I think what controls the tides is the entrances and exits from the perimeter wall around us. It's not a nice wall, guys. I'm sorry. It's just not. But there's openings. And in the center of our plane, there is 4 continents surrounding the center, supposedly. That's what the old maps show. Do I know? No, I haven't been there. I'm going by the old maps, okay? So there's 4 rivers flowing in and out of the center, and then you have the 8 openings going around. 6 or 8 openings. I think it's 8. Anyway, I think that is the in and out flow of the tides. That's my opinion. That's the only logical thing, because the sun and the moon, I don't think would have that kind of capability on the flat Earth plane with the system the way it's set up. Could I be wrong? Sure.
Yeah.
But this is how I see it. And if anybody has anything else to add to that or a better theory, I would love to see it and hear it, because I don't know really what's doing it, but I don't think it's all blamed on the moon. Especially, you know, maybe the menstrual cycle stuff. I don't know about that, but
Why would
really
the
not my
moon
problem
affect
anymore. I'm
the
over it.
cycle? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. But don't worry, Jen, because remember,
there are no experts.
you know, somebody said in the opening that when they see Officer and a Gentleman, they think of my goofiness.
I got nowhere else to go. I got nowhere else to
But
that is Academy Award winning performance right there.
I know,
I think Richard Gere has nothing on you.
No, thank you. It's just like
some fluttery eyes.
I was overlooked by the Academy. I was very
You are.
upset.
Yeah, you definitely underrate it.
But I've talked about this before, but I'll bring it up again because I find it hilarious. That one clip I play where, you know, he says there are no experts. It was Juan Truth. He's in the chat sometimes, and he said he was watching The Exorcist with his family not too long ago. And I don't know a lot of times where some of these clips come from. I just grab the clips because I like what they're saying, and they fit. And apparently that's from that movie. And when he said it in the movie, he started laughing, and his family looked at him like he was crazy. It's like,
yeah, because they're like, who do we call? Is there an expert ticket? And he's like, there are no experts.
Yeah, and he's like, he couldn't tell anyone. Like, he's gonna explain. Well, there's this guy named Ceiling Fan Man, and you know, it's like, forget it. You know, it's not even worth it. So, yeah.
We'll melt this demon with fervent heat.
Yeah, right. So, okay, so I was showing this because I got off on the moon topic, and let's see, where is it? Clickety click. And here. So maybe smarter people could explain this, but they took an anvil.
What was that?
see if it floats.
They took an anvil and they stuck it in liquid mercury, and it defies gravity. And I understand, like, to me, everything is about buoyancy. and density. So this kind of helps explain why some things fall down and some things float up. It's not because of gravity. I mean, we're supposed to believe with gravity, it's strong enough to hold the oceans against the planet or whatever we're on, but it's not heavy enough like when there's dew on leaves, like that water will stay, and so it's like they even tell you, was it Neil deGrasse Tyson or the other guy, the Asian man? He said that it's a lie, that gravity was a lie. And so I just find these experiments fascinating, as to trying to prove. But it's like, who are we speaking to? You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so few people that are actually listening to this stuff, and the rest of the world is just getting sucked in by mainstream.
Well, it says at the end the saints will be wore out, and I'm not saying I'm a saint, but I'm pretty freaking wore out. Okay?
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
And secondly, there comes a point now. I will not stop until the end, of course, but there comes a point where I feel like we get to a point. Maybe you're starting to feel it a little, and why I feel how I feel, that I've done my job. I've done everything I can do, and I'm still going to continue to do what I do. But at the end of the day, I don't have this urgency like I did, because I feel like it's like, okay, well, here we are. We're getting to the finish line now.
Yeah, and you know what, everyone?
Intuitively, people like you and I who feel compelled to stay in line with truth and keep putting it out there and keep coming back and doing this all the time and putting ourselves out here on YouTube like we are, are maybe, getting to the point where, we've done it. We've done what we had to do, what we came here to do, and now it's up to God.
Right. And she said it, everyone. She said, here we are.
And so here we are.
It's very true.
Oh, I have that guy too. Where is he? This guy.
That's very true.
So, okay. Where was I at? Oh, did you see this? I was starting to show it, but go back. The reason that the Gen X's were mad, and this is 100% true, it's because we had to replace our record collections with tape collections. And then we had to replace that with CD collections. And then we had to replace that with MP3 collections. And now we need a subscription to listen to music.
Yeah,
right?
We had to replace the most stuff, our generation.
We did. And they all
forgot their money back. Like the Flat Earth festivals, they all went back to the globe. What a ripoff. I want my money back.
That's very true. And they left one out, the 8-track. Remember those?
Yeah, remember 8-tracks? They were the first ones. Yeah. Well, vinyl albums, and then the 8-tracks. Yeah. And then the
8-track was like
that came out after that.
You liked, say say the 5th song. Well, that was on, for those who don't know, you had to there was 4 tracks on each side of your cassette.
You had to take it out and flip it over and take it back in.
Right, to get the other 4. And so if you wanted to hear, say, song 5, the first track had, let's say, 3 songs. And the second track, if it had 3 songs, you had to wait for the song maybe you didn't like for your song to come on. You couldn't
you couldn't skip over it.
No.
Yeah, that's how we learn patience in our generation.
Yeah, and I also told them the albums were a pain in the ass too, because I remember, because I was one of my favorite handlers, of course, I've talked about, is the Beatles. And then of the Beatles, my favorite was John Lennon. And when he put out the album right before they quote unquote killed his character, it was Double Fantasy, and it had some of the best at the time when I was into it, some of the best John Lennon songs. But the problem was, is since he was so in love with Yoko, his handler, it was like a John Lennon song, then a Yoko song, then a John Lennon song, then a Yoko song. So unless you wanted to keep getting up and going and clicking to the next track, you had to sit through Yoko. And I literally, if I played them before, because you don't get a copyright strike with Yoko, it's just like she's screaming and it's a nightmare. But
they did it like that on purpose, though.
Right.
I have to listen to it.
Yeah.
Play that shit backwards, and it's probably all satanic stuff.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Like I think we talked about just the last few weeks or whatever, that the one that won every time when they had the best album or best song of the year, they do that countdown. At least they used to, and it was Stairway to Heaven. Like every time it was on the top of the list, and you play that backwards, and it's all satanic. There's like so, and it's funny because like when you look at the words, like I don't even know, but they're nonsense words when you sing it normal,
right?
And they just had us going that we would just sing anything.
So backwards, those words probably said a whole lot, like you said. It was, yeah. So, I mean, the fact that Obama can stand up there and say, "Yes, we can," and get the whole crowd saying it, and in reverse it says, "Thank you, Satan," just blows me away. That nobody even, batted an eyelash over that one. It's just like, what?
And there's no
you guys are worshiping Satan, you don't even know it, and that's a double deception right there. Okay.
No coincidence, no accidents. They knew what they were doing when they did it. So, yeah. So all right, let's see what's next on here. Oh yeah, and once again we were right. We keep talking about all these underground cities and stuff. They say that they built it, but we say they found it, right? Like everything else.
Yeah, they just went in and cleaned it up.
Yeah, they just cleaned it out and yeah. And they're not waiting for the near extinction event. They've been living down there, I think. A lot of they proved that Biden was like broadcasting from a fake set, so he wasn't even in the White House. And now, of course, with that auto signature, he didn't sign anything. Nobody even knows who was signing him. It's kind of funny. So, so here we go. We were right once again. So, conspiracy theorists with another W. Just So, and then this I thought was funny. Cardinals elect the new pope after unexpected 3 a.m. surge in voting. I thought that was funny, but obviously this was a fake picture. However, obviously, but however, Trump posted this. He really did. Okay, and when they asked him, he's like, "I don't know who made it." You know how he is. Oh, I don't know. It's like. So it's like they just keep putting it in their face. They just have things to get people upset.
So you're saying he really posed for this?
No, I'm saying that someone created it, but he's like, I don't know who created it. Rather than when they're asking him, why did you post it on your page?
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, he says, I don't know who made it. Deflection. But so yeah, we have a new pope, I guess. That's why. And but I've got something I want to play for you. I'm not sure if I'll see how much I can get because I don't want copyright on it. But everybody that's listening right now, if you're at home, wherever you are listening to it live, or if you're going to listen to it later, I want you to do this right now. I want you to close your eyes and just think of President Trump. And now listen to the lyrics here. Think of Trump. Does that not sound like him or what? I think so. Maybe I'm alone.
Weird. Yeah.
I'm weird? Okay.
No, that's weird.
Oh, yeah, that's weird, right? I don't know. To me, it kind of sounds like it. Well, Marcus says, I don't think so. I don't know. But maybe a little. This is the things that make me laugh. So, okay. Enough with that.
Awakened Saints in the chat.
Oh, hey. Good to see you. Where are you? You're in there somewhere. Does that mean he just got here? Then we got to hit him with this. Okay. Well, then him and whoever else just showed up.
And Wiley too.
I don't feel tardy.
All right, a step
tardies.
Couple of tardies?
Yeah.
All right, a couple of tardies. So, okay, you heard Trump? Okay, good. And you know what? Streamer had another update. Look how big the words are in the pictures. They were never this big on these.
I'm not down with the updates. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can't keep up with them.
Because it's usually like right when I'm starting a show, and it's like, oh wait, what's going on here? And I got to figure it out during the show live.
Yeah. Okay, so
a lot of people new and stuff.
A lot of people heard Trump, so that's good. So yeah, all right, okay.
Remember that thing with the dress where some people would see like blue and gray, and other people see gold and gray. And that's really weird that two people could see two different things with this dress. I always saw the gold.
Yeah, and that was, again, I don't understand. Like when those things go viral, again, there's no coincidence, no accidents. They're doing it for a reason. It's like they're trying to figure out who's listening to this, who's awake to that, or I don't know how it all works. But they did that thing with like brain freeze and and raindrop. I don't know. There was like two different words
like
you could hear.
Red needle or something.
That was it. Green needle.
Green needle. Yeah.
Yeah. So how does all that work? I can't explain it. And why are they doing it? I think it's to some reason like figure out where we are. Like AI is constantly listening to us and reshaping the ads that we get and things like that. Oh, remind me, we're going to talk a little bit AI. I got to tell you what Jeannie did. It's freaking hilarious. So, but yeah, they're doing that to I don't know. I don't know why they're doing it, but
strange.
Here's another weird thought. See, I get all these weird thoughts. I'm like, well, maybe I can talk about this on the show and bring it up and spend 10 minutes on it and kill an hour. But how about this? People that are into Harry Potter, I mean, it was pretty big for a long time there. So, they had house elves, right? Like, is this guy named Dobby or Dobby or something like that? And they did stuff for them, right? They got their whatever. They got their books or their food or I don't know. They did things for the wizards, right?
Uh-huh.
Now think about this. They're wizards. They can do whatever they want with a freaking wand. They don't need them. So they did it just because they wanted to enslave a race because they're all wicked. I mean, I know we shouldn't be in like witchcraft and all that anyways, but I mean, think about it in the world of Harry Potter. How evil was that they enslaved these people to do, ridiculous things for no reason, right?
They just did it because they could.
Exactly.
And that in itself is pure evil because it's not like, you have like, not that there's a good reason for that at all, but to have a reason, right?
Yeah.
Just like that, because we can, and we just like to torture people.
Yeah, that's exactly it, sir. There were not, again, I understand. Let's not get into the whole God Satan thing. Let's just talk about the Harry Potter world for a moment. There's supposed to be good wizards and bad wizards. They were all evil because all of them had these things and they tortured them for no reason. I mean, just having them do things that they didn't need them to do. Like they can make food like that, right? And what do they need these things for? Yeah, Laura, just to be evil, right?
That's what demons do. I mean, when you're in hell, what do you think that happens to you? You're getting like skinned alive over and over again because they can do it to you just because they can.
I just thought when I heard this and I'm like, wow, that was an eye opener to me because they did. There was absolutely no reason to have these creatures around.
That was really bad for kids to watch all that Harry Potter stuff.
Oh, I know.
My boys were already grown and out of the house when that was a big thing, and they were never into that. But yeah, all this magic and stuff and witchcraft and spell casting and.
I read the books to my kids. I mean, I got caught up in it. It was hard not to at the time,
Yeah, I never got to that.
I just think it's funny that there was no reason that they had to enslave these people. They just did it because they were all wicked. All right.
Wicked begets wicked.
And then breaking news, President Trump is now going to rename the San Andreas fault to Joe Biden's fault.
I like it.
Right? And I like how they had to put satire on here just in case the Twitter, people went after him. Readers give it context. This isn't true, So
breaking news.
Okay, now I don't want to get into a discussion about shots, but I saw this and either I hadn't seen it or I've forgotten it, but I want to show you this one. It's pretty wild. You go into Google Translate and you go from Latin to English and you write, let's see, it's I think it's, yeah. How do you spell? Let me look it up. Let's see. Okay, here it is. So ASTRA. Okay, what am I doing wrong? Let's see. It's not working. Of course it doesn't work when you're on screen.
Doing it live, guys. Anything can happen. It's okay.
Wow, this is weird. It worked perfectly. I did it in.
Well, you hate it when that stuff happens, though.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
make sure I'm writing this right. Okay. almost? Why isn't it almost there? Yes.
You're doing Latin here? Converting it?
Yeah. Let's see.
No I, it's an E. Allison says.
No I? Yeah, no, it is an E. Jeez. Oh, this is a... what a bust. All right, forget it. I'll deal with it later. We'll do it live. Uh-oh.
I'm excited. I wanted to see it.
I'll try to figure it out maybe and try to do it again. But now this isn't working. There's an article about how everyone's cheating their way through college now. And I can't read it now because it's new.
It's so easy to cheat now. I mean, just have AI write all your stuff up first off,
Right.
And just
and they're saying that, you got to be careful because the doctors growing up today cheated through school with AI and ChatGPT and all that.
Yeah.
And so I thought this one was good. So AI, he asks, can I be proud to be white? And of course, AI says, I don't think it's productive to be proud of something you have no control over. It's better to focus on the things you've accomplished or worked hard for. Okay. Can I be proud to be black? Absolutely. Being proud of your ethnicity, culture, and heritage is a positive thing. It's important to celebrate and embrace your identity. Isn't that great?
Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing is like people, the new generation growing up, they're using AI to answer everything, Chat GPT and stuff. And I see it on Twitter all the time. There'll be a news article or something, and someone will write, Chat GPT, break this down, or Chat GPT, or Grok, I think is the other one. Is this real? And so we're going to get to the point, we're already there, but we're going to get even farther to the point where people will only trust the computer for information. Right?
Yeah, well, we've been there for a while now with Google, just ask Google anything or Siri or whatever like that. But, now you don't have to read, you don't have to write, you don't have to do anything for schooling to get through it, right? To actually think out a whole, whatever you got to break down for college and stuff. No, you let the chat GPT do it, whatever. And it's like, there's no critical thinking. They don't have to, and like the phone numbers we were saying, like with the phones, we're lucky if we remember 2 numbers in our head because they're all in our phones now. We just hit it, and it's gone over even to critical thinking. It's like, oh gee, I don't know what's going on. There's no encyclopedia. You can go look it up. Like you used to have encyclopedias in your house and stuff like that. This thing goes down, and they could just rewrite everything with this new generation. You know what I mean? Unless there's people like us around who have some knowledge left, but people younger and younger now are starting to get Alzheimer's. It used to be like the 80s and the 90s. Now it's like the 60s and the 70s. So, yeah. Just a loss of knowledge.
I figured it out, by the way. I had the spaces in the wrong places. So, here, while you were talking, because I didn't want you to, go to bed tonight and go, what was he trying to share? If you type in AstraZeneca, which is a company that makes stuff, and you put the spaces here between the A and the Z and the N, it translates to English to a road to death.
And I actually remember that from a while back. I think maybe Steve might have shown it or somewhere along the line, but it's definitely, it's always there.
Yeah.
If you know where to look. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like we were talking about the backwards words in the music and stuff. It's all right there in our face but we don't know. We don't know what's happening. Like they get us so busy with life and work and whatever that people don't take the time to look into these things. So. Yeah.
Or even the logos, the kids running around with the Monster drink logo, it means 666, but they're wearing that and the mom don't know. She's buying it. Somebody else is getting it tattooed on them or whatever. They just think it's a Monster thing, whatever, or the peace symbol. Or, it's just all this stuff. And people think, or, even, other Christians might think, well, got to go along and get along, got to be all inclusive, but they're going against everything that the Most High has put forth or what the Most High will not tolerate. They're getting Christians to tolerate and stuff like that. Or say you would never say eat a human, right? But, they're putting certain things in certain foods along the way. You find out down the road, some kind of stem cell stuff from something, whatever, or, the the other white meat that some of these fast food places stuff in your burgers and sausages.
Yeah, they had
So
a
there you go.
commercial.
You don't even know you're doing it, so you're being deceived because you don't know. You don't care that you don't know, and it's like, you're loving it because that's what the commercial says. I'm loving it.
And they had that commercial for one of them. It was like KFC or something, and they had a chicken nugget, and the guy walks a human, and they dip him into this like I showed
I'm
it.
telling you, yeah.
And it turned into like a McNugget. I'm like, what was that? Like,
Let he who be deceived be deceived.
yeah.
If you don't have the eyes to see it and the courage to stand behind truth and what you believe in, and sorry guys, hold on a second, and what the Most High puts forth, and what you know inherently is good and bad, and what you would and would not do, like you inherently know to not put what comes out of your butt in your mouth. Okay, everybody knows that. You don't got to be taught it; it's instinctively known. But these people do the most foul, the most unclean things because that's what their God does. And they want you to do it too. And they want you to be deceived into doing it and not even know that you're doing it, because that's even bigger deception on their part, which gets them more points in their.
And apparently Mike Jones says that Connor was talking about this tonight too. So, and it's really interesting how that works. I don't know how the ether works, but it seems like subjects like kind of just end up in everyone's like head or something. Because I've seen shows that I've done that other people are doing at the same time or whatever, and we don't talk to each other or call each other and say, hey, I'm doing this or that. It's pretty wild how that works. But I got to tell you this story since we're talking about AI. So Jeannie has this amazing ability to say something and really twist people around. It's really fun to watch. And but she doesn't mean anything by it. She just asks honest questions, right? And so it's like on Reddit, like it's one of the last places you can actually get real information, I believe, but it's changing too really rapidly. And so it's like she goes on Reddit, and I guess they have like karma points or something. If you say something people like it goes up, and then if you say something negative, it goes down. I don't know what they do, if they matter at all, but she said something innocuous, and she like it does only goes down to negative 99, and then it's just like and so she like
flatline after that.
Flatlined it, and I looked at what she asked, and it was not that bad at all, or something.
It's an inconvenient question of truth.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what it was that she said. I can't think of it, but what happened was on this one was she started playing with ChatGPT one day, and so and you'll like this, Jen. She said, she asked ChatGPT, is Ryan Gosling a woman? And ChatGPT immediately says, oh, absolutely not. Ryan Gosling, she's not a woman. She says, okay. She goes, well, what makes a woman? What does a woman look like? And so ChatGPT tells her, it's about the hips, and it's about, the length of this and the foot and the hand, the different things. And whatever the explanation, it was pretty long, whatever it gave to her. She said, well, Ryan Gosling has this and has this and has this and has this. All the things that they just said to her made a woman.
Right.
And she's like, well, he has all these things. Like, yeah, well, but even though he has these things, it agreed with her. He has all these same things.
But
he's definitely a man. So then Jeannie writes, well, if it walks like a duck and talks like a duck, isn't it a duck? And that DPD says back to her, well, yes, normally that's true, but in this instance it isn't. And because you're body shaming someone that you're naming, you're no longer allowed to use ChatGPT for 24 hours.
Oh my God.
And it's like she won the argument and hung up the phone kind of thing.
Damn it, man. You can't make this stuff up, guys. Yeah. I mean, wow.
He pissed off ChatGPT. So, I'm not worried about the AI world or the Terminator. I've got Jeannie on my side. She'll fry their circuits or something. It's freaking great.
Yeah. One question, she'll fry their circuits.
What's that?
I said with one question, she'll fry their circuits.
Yeah. It took one question. Yeah. It's too much. So, okay. Where are we at? So we just covered that. And to me, this is a Mandela effect. Steven Seagal, his name is now Steven Seagal, like the bird.
Yes.
And but the reason I brought him up is, and I'm not body shaming I'm just asking a question because this guy did some, amazing karate, at least somewhat amazing in his old movies. And here he is now. Like, oh, kill the audio.
Yeah, man, what happened to him?
My goodness.
Wow.
I'm not body shaming. I'm just saying, is this the same guy? Because that's
how does that happen?
I don't know.
The heck is he eating? Everything?
I don't know. He's eating people. What is he eating? I don't know.
Yikes.
Yeah. So there's Steven Seagal. Because if you look him up now, his name is Seagal. Seagal, Seagal. Like the bird.
I'll be back in just 1 second, CFM.
Fine. Just leave. See how you are? Go. I'll do this without you. And of course, they always have to, we're in the year of the woman, and they want to bring up this article. Prehistoric women were probably better at hunting than men, scientists suggest. Sure, of course they were. Where's Jen now? Check their feet, Jen. I mean, I think the hips and stuff on, was that Raquel Welch? But we got some sus going on here, in my mind, but she's not here to say anything. Maybe that's probably better. So look at a little sus there. All right, let's get out of that. What can I do? Let's see what's next up here. Well, that's all melted stuff. Okay, what else do we have here? I know what I can play. How about this video? And if it turns out that they want to copyright, I'll just take this out of the video. But I find this pretty hilarious. And so let's see if I can.
And a happy winter solstice to all.
Hang on, back it up. Happy winter. Stop. Okay, how are we doing this? Okay, go clickety click here. You just got here. What's your name? Kentucky. You're tardy.
I don't feel tardy. I don't feel tardy.
Okay, let's see. Oh, look like the Blue Origin. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. So, yeah, it was 1 million years BC. That's right. But if we looked at it with our new eyes, I bet you we'd find a lot of people that are questionable. How about that? Oh, that's funny. He's big as a flock of seagulls. Nice. He went from martial arts to sumo wrestling. You all are funny in the chat. You really are. Thank you for this.
I had the worst hot flash. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's all right.
I was like soaked in sweat dripping down my neck and stuff. And I was just like,
oh, yikes.
I got to handle this right now.
The chat is hilarious. Under Siege, Dark Territory. They're talking about Steven Seagal again. So that's pretty funny. Yeah, maybe too much soda. Yeah. Too much soda, too many donuts. Yeah. So, okay. Let's see, where were we? I was going to try to play this thing and see if this works.
Turn the fan towards me. That would be nice.
Right? Where is this? Okay, it's in there. And I said if this they don't like it and they want to strike on it, I'll just take it away. But came across this. Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
Yeah, I have not put my air conditioning on yet. I refuse to. Unfortunately, the room that I'm in, my office.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, my office here that I'm in is hot. This is the hottest room in the house.
Have you seen this video? It's just a minute long, but it's pretty funny.
And a happy winter solstice to all. Right, everyone out. This is my party now. Who are you? He's a son of God, that's who. Mum, sorry. I'm a son of God, that's who. And it's my birthday, so. Your birthday was months ago. Well, I changed it. You can't just take over the winter solstice. We've been doing this for thousands of years. Well, we never got an invite. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry, but to replace an ancient tradition just because you weren't invited doesn't... Dad! Wait. It's fine, we'll go. Yeah, Merry Christmas. That's right, keep it moving. Not you. You're staying. Right, everyone out.
You like it? I don't know. I thought
That's
it was
a
pretty
good
cool.
one. You know how I feel about Christmas.
And I'll give him credit because he did all the characters. I like doing that too, but he did a lot. And he has obviously way more video skills than I do. But I've had funny skits in my head where I would be talking to Jesus, but I haven't been able to like bring myself to play that part. And I think he did it fairly what do you call it? I think he did it okay as far as not blasphemous kind of feeling,
Right.
you know what I mean? If that's possible. But I haven't been able to come up with the way of doing it where I didn't feel weird about doing it.
Yeah, right. Where you feel comfortable doing it. Right.
Yeah. I thought he was comfortable with it.
Daryl Davis just showed up.
I see that he's lurking, but he just showed up. Where is it?
Daryl. Hardy.
Oh, here we go.
I don't feel dirty.
Oh, so there's that. And Daryl, Jeannie's making soap for some people that have purchased, but also she's creating some kind of hand cream, and she's perfecting it. And I've been trying all the different beta testing, I guess. So that'll be going out soon. And for anybody that's interested, I can segue into that since I have to make sure that because I am the marketing department and the shipping department. And so if you'd like some natural soaps made by my wife, instead of having all the different chemicals on it, she's got all kinds now. She just reshot. She took these pictures too. I think they're pretty cool.
Nice, yeah.
And she makes the different soaps, and they come with like, well, there you go. They show you the sizes and they tell you what's in them and stuff. And she just made this new one. Someone asked for some with patchouli. So this one I thought was funny. It's called Just Patchouli Soap, and she put it on a plain background instead of anything. It's
I like it simple though. It looks good.
Yeah, it's just tallow, coconut oil, and some patchouli in there. And this rosemary one's really good, and I think it's cool because it looks like the rocks that she put it on. Isn't that funny? So I'm very proud of what she does there. So if you're looking for that, I'll grab the link and I'll throw it in the chat and go ahead and try it out. Okay, so I've done my commercial for her soap, and let's see, I'll throw that in the chat over here. And I just found out that I finally got my money from Rockfin for the tips that they were holding on to. So I'm streaming on, I can only do 3. And so I'm streaming on Rumble. Hey, Dennis over there on Rumble, and on YouTube and on Twitter. But I might start streaming again on Rockfin since they're not going to steal all my money there. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I love Rockfin account. I have like 5,000 subscribers over there.
Yeah, it's funny, that show that I played the clips from, we did the game. I mentioned that back then. I had just gotten onto Rockfin, and I was soliciting Rockfin to have you and Steve go on there. And they, the one time anyone ever listened to me, I guess they did. And you guys went on. And
there was one I had trouble getting on. I think it might have been Odyssey. Brian.
Really?
You had to have somebody like recommend you to them.
No, that was Rockfin. Rockfin was that way.
No, I think it was one of them. They had a hard time getting me on. Like, and they're like, "Have they contacted you yet?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't heard anything." They're like, "Damn, I'll do it again. I'll do it again." They're like, "I don't understand what's going on," and I'm like, I'm just sitting there like, I don't know. They're probably like, I don't know if we want this girl over here.
And the thing is, for anybody that's relatively new to us, because we've been doing this seems like forever. And we are all on this one called D Live. And D Live, Rockfin started out for wrestling. If you were into wrestling, that was where you went. And then they branched out to, truth or whatever, conspiracy, whatever you want to call it. D Live was gamers mostly. It was like people playing a game and other people watching it. And so they weren't really our crowd. But Brian's the one that got us all on these channels. It's really funny. And so we all got on the D Live. And I just love talking to Jen about this because she's the only person. She was on there, I think, 24 hours, if that. Because she went on D Live. You're like, All right, everybody, I'm live on D-Live. Now let's look at some pictures.
Say whatever I want.
Let's look at their feet and do a transvestigation. And boom, she was gone.
I was
Dusted,
knocked off the leaderboard instantly. And then, the whole January thing happened, January 5th or whatever the heck it was. And somehow, I don't know how, but somehow I got roped in with those people. And they demonetized me.
Oh, well, I thought they just took you
over here then. I can't say what I want and I ain't getting any money. So
yeah, they just took you right down. It's so funny.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So, okay, let's see. Where are we at?
Too hot.
Yeah, you're too hot. That's what it is, Jen. We all know.
I'm hot. It just comes in flashes now.
Yeah, right? I like that. That's funny too. Okay. Let's see. Let me go to, let's go over here. That's space. I have 2 scary space news. I don't have much. I told you it was really tough to put something together for tonight. So let's clear that out of the way really quick here. Where's this guy? He's over here. We can't do so.
Clickety click.
Clickety click, yeah. That's the other reason why I have to spend money on the StreamYards, because I can't have all these tabs if I don't, like this one.
This week in scary space news.
And they say all the countries are involved in it. Yeah, everyone. It's all of them.
Yeah.
Let's get rid of the music. So this is like a Chinese spacewalk, I believe. And let's see. Look at this thing is like whatever this is disappearing. And his feet are disappearing. Here, let's see.
There's no space, guys. So anybody who's
Look.
trying to force space on you or going to space or doing whatever, they're lying to you. And so they're in on it.
Yeah. They're all in on it. And they also forgot to curve their Earth. Isn't that funny? Because our space program, our Earth, now it's really curved. Look at that. So there's no curve, and then there's a curve.
They're just screwing with us.
Different camera angle, and his feet just vanish.
Oh boy. You know, I've seen fake CGI things that people think that are real on TikTok that look better than this. What are they doing with all the money they get?
Well, when I went to Antarctica, it was better than this. Honestly, I think.
Yeah.
Or Australia, went to Australia and fought crocs, and that was even better.
Oh man.
You know, because this is, again, we've talked about this.
Just
and
people want to believe, so they overlook all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I was a huge into Star Wars and Star Trek and all that. Meanwhile, when series is out, sometimes you can see this, sometimes with your naked eye, but definitely with binoculars. Like, you don't even need a really strong telescope to
That
see
thing
this
is
stuff.
crazy.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And if we could ever find the shows that you and Steve did or whatever, there was faces in this.
Yes,
Some of
they
these stars.
got to be on Steve's show somewhere where we were, because I actually had captured pictures of faces in these things. One of them looked like a face that was looking down at the earth. And it was
Right.
creepy, really creepy.
Yeah. So I tend to believe what the Bible tells me, that they're trapped in the firmament and there's some type of entity. We don't know what they are, but they're not gases of light or whatever they, friggin' science tells you.
Yeah.
They're not. And this isn't 8.6 light years, which they don't even know what a light year really is. But you can see this so well.
Another theory.
Yeah. Yeah, just like the Tycho crater, which is only like whatever it is, 50, 60 miles across, and you can see it with a naked eye. How's that impossible? It's not possible.
Red Storm says she remembers those vids with the faces and the stars and stuff.
Right?
Nice.
So, okay.
Definitely like 5-6 years ago, that stuff.
Yeah, it was. I had another video there, but now it's gone. I don't know where it went.
There was a live stream that is still on Steve's channel, Steve JMO, in case you wonder who we're talking about. Steve JMO, you can look him up on YouTube. Somebody can drop his link in the chat. If you go back like 3 years into his streams, his live streams. There's almost 7-hour stream. It's like 6 hours and 54 minutes or something of me, him, and Brian. We were on for 7 hours.
Yeah, you guys were doing marathons back
I
then.
don't even know what we were talking about, but we were having fun. So
let's see. I have. How do I grab that? Is it here? Is it this one?
I think it was definitely before the whole CV thing and everything, because we were pretty much able to say it wasn't too,
I was putting
down on speech and stuff then.
I think this is should be Steve's channel there. And don't forget to throw yours in there. Someone asked me on the last stream that I did if I could put your link in there. So make sure you do, Jen. I put it in there. I always try to put it in the comments and stuff, but sometimes I miss it. So, yeah, I did. There it is. That's Steve's channel. And for those of you over on Rumble, I'll give it to you there, too. He's got some good stuff on there.
Yeah, Steve JMO's got good stuff on his channel. Yeah. It's timeless information, guys.
Right.
I mean, we cover some current events of the time, but even the current events that we were covering, we were on point with everything, and it's led us all right to where we're at now, which is back then we were speculating and theorizing where this was all going, and we were correct.
Yeah.
With all of it. Even Jamie, I don't know if she's in the chat tonight, but she's gone back and watched a lot of our stuff from Steve's channel and stuff. And she even tells me all the time, she's like, I can't believe how on point you were back then. All of us with everything we were saying. And here we are.
Yeah, it's all come around. It's all coming out. It's the revelation. It's the unveiling.
Yeah, there's only one way this whole thing can go. And once you see the big picture, there's no denying it.
I put your channel on there, Jen. So
thank you.
You're good there. Okay.
I'm almost at 1,000 guys. Please sub and bell.
Yeah.
I'll be back around doing stuff live again. It's just I'm taking a little break. I got things going on in the personal world here, and that whole stress level. So it kind of takes away from the urgency and all the stuff that I'm doing with YouTube, like to get information out and stuff like that. I've been just going full bore for 7 years. It's almost really like strange feeling to not have that drive, but I'm also okay with it too, because I know mentally I just need that break.
Yeah. And again, I'm like I said, I feel that too. It's just it is what it is. So
I'll always come on with you though.
Well, thank you. Well, that's the reason we went on tonight, is because you could come on, because I literally didn't have. I always try to have. If I'm going to do 2 hours, I always have enough content for say 3 to 4. And tonight, I think I had 20 minutes worth. So,
and when you have somebody with you, you can talk for an hour, the first hour away, and not even realize it. We've done that plenty of times before we've ever even tackled pictures and got into all the other stuff.
That's the funniest thing. When I do those shows with Stephen about the perspective, we took a Bible chapter and we were just going to go over it. And that one that I played, it was the first one we ever did. And I swear it was maybe 40 minutes, almost an hour into it. And we hadn't even started. We were just talking, And then we like 2 sentences and then go off again. And then I don't even know how we got through that passage. So easy.
That happened to us with the Adam and Eve. And we were covering that.
Yeah, we should do those again. Those were fun too. But that's the problem. Like, you start that and you're like, oh, you got all this. Oh, we're going to get through it. But we barely get through like a page, and
still haven't finished it.
No. I sound like R2D2. I'm not sure why. My mic is messed up. Oh, no.
It did sound a little muffled there for a second. I thought maybe it was on my end.
Let's see.
Is there something muffling your sound? Is there duct tape in the way?
Is that helping? Anything? Is this on? I'm good now. I fixed it. Yes. That's all my skills. Yeah.
It's all your fault.
Yeah, it's all my fault. But I fixed it with my wild skills. So what do I have? I have nothing for that. I was going to play some drop, but nothing worked. Oh, the first drop I ever made.
Didn't Awakened Saint get you using drops?
Yes, I used to watch. I was watching his show, and he would do they blinded me with science. If you said science, He'd play that Thomas Dolby clip,
Yeah.
and the other one was, I think I even said it to him that he was playing Three Stooges clips, and I go, my favorite thing is when he says, "I try to think, but nothing happens," and he was playing that one in there too. So then when I started my show, I threw the clips in here, but I was also doing on my walkabouts. Remember those when I would just do I'd go walk around and I'd talk about things in the news and stuff. And since I was doing it on my phone, I couldn't connect it to my computer unless I would email them to it, and I could only do within like a 2-minute clip. If I did anything longer, it wouldn't email.
Right.
And so I had these natural breaks and everything, so I started throwing clips in that too. So. And here we are.
We are, and you're the reason I started doing drops. So
isn't that funny? And I've noticed that more people are taking pride in their intros and outros, which something I just did. I don't know why. It just came about, and I like putting the people's names when they're in the chat over those, because I figure the chat is a big part of the show. That's why I hate the drama when it happens in there. But the chat is a big
so
part
excited when Brian would put my name on the screen.
Right?
I'd be like screenshotting it.
I agree. Yeah, most time people don't acknowledge their chat or talk to them, and so I've always wanted. Here's what happened. Like the first episode I got done, and I said, "What do you think?" And Ginny said, "Well, you kind of ignored the chat." And from then on, I've always made sure I talk with them because they're here and they're funny. If you get most of them.
If I'm by myself and I really have like stuff I got to focus on to get out information, and I won't really see what the chat's saying because I'm trying to stay focused. Or if I'm share screen, I can't see what the chat's saying anyway, unless I'm looking at my phone, looking at the screen. There's a lot going on. But yeah, I always try to definitely see what's going on in chat. Now, there was a couple of shows back I was not looking at the chat at all, and there was some crazy stuff going on in the chat.
That's the only problem. When the chat goes crazy, that's what
right. And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, that happens. Okay. Yeah, see, people do like seeing their comments. So, yeah. Okay. Then the rest of these, I just think are just.
Did you do a thing with Brian? Your Awakening.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What number were you? Do you know? I was like 30 something when he did mine. That was my first live stream I'd ever been on ever.
Really?
Like, yeah, and he was interviewing me.
Yeah, I don't remember my number. I just.
I'd never done a live stream ever. Like that's the first one.
Yeah, well, by the time I went on Brian's show, I'd already done a bunch with the Fake Cowboys and some other streams. So I was kind of bouncing around a bunch of different streams. People liked having me as a guest, I guess. So.
Yeah, you're a good guest.
But I started as a chatter.
Yeah,
that's where. Yeah, I was just in the chat, and then eventually I had to like talk more than I could type in the chat, so I started doing this, and here we are. So
here we are.
Okay, let's see. And then lately, of course, it's all been about meltology and little season or short season of Satan, because the things that I've seen now, there's a lot of people that are. I think RFB Richard in Boston, he just got his channels back, and I haven't watched it, but people told me he was anti-short season and stuff, and I'll look into it. But it's almost like I feel like maybe he hasn't looked at things like this, that it's obviously
he got off of YouTube. He was just starting to get into the melt. You could tell. Me and Steve were like, "Oh, he sees it. We know he sees it." He's like, saw the ruins way up the top of something like this, even, and he was out in the middle of nowhere, and he's like, "Huh, what's that doing up there?" Like, but he wasn't saying it. And this is when meltology was kind of early on, but it was starting to get around.
The thing is like, okay, if people want to say this isn't what happened. I still have not heard a theory as to what caused the heat. I mean, this literally looks like a city that's been melted. It's not like the crystals didn't grow out of the ground millions of years and blah, blah, blah. What would cause things like this if it wasn't from some kind of fervent heat? This stuff.
Exactly.
And if it was a heated event, and you don't believe in the Bible, or you don't believe that, that Revelation came and went, and Jesus came back and melted everything, or God, God melted it like wax. Like, look at this. Then I'm still waiting to hear their theory as to what caused this melt. Get out of here with this. How do we get rid of that? Okay. As to what caused this melt, and why it happened, how often it happened. They don't have any explanation. They're going to tell me that they climbed up into this wall. What is with this thing here? I don't want to go to the next post. I want to look at this one. Somebody climbed up on this thing and they carved these, like you told me that some of these are like tombs, crypts or whatever. They climbed up here and carved these holes in this mountain. And then for no reason whatsoever, they decided to fill in a bunch of bricks.
Yeah, because that's what you do when you don't have the internet, nothing else to do. You fill in your time with bricks.
Yeah. And there's a few bricklets over here, and then here's some brick that turned into cobblestones. Because otherwise, the theory you have to believe is someone built it this way. Someone said, "Okay, I got an idea. Let's use bricks. Let's use some random rocks, and then like kind of plaster." And only make it like a third of it here and whatever here. And how did you get this? Like, it's not even a carving.
It makes sense.
Yeah. Make it make sense. Where's Shapu? Make it make sense. So the people that are saying, well, no, if God's judgment hasn't happened and we didn't live through the millennial reign, there's no proof and all that. Then what is your explanation as to why these look melted AF, as Jen would say? It doesn't make any sense. No one builds this way. And you got these squash bricks over here.
Sedimentary bricklayers.
Right? But they don't have any answer. They just want to say, oh, we're wrong. But what happened here? Someone just decided to just stick this in here to hold this rock up? Why? What is this here for?
I remember somebody whose name we will not say because we don't say that name.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't it just be a mountain? Why is it going to be a melted building? Can't it just be a mountain? You know what I did? I looked up the word mountain, and that's why I came up, and my drop is the word mountain has no standardized geological meaning, and it's
no,
it's the truth. It has no standardized geological meaning. So what is a mountain? A mountain is a description of something. So what is it a mountain of? Because it's a mountain of something. It's not just a mountain.
Because the best place to put some bricks is to scale this mountain and then put it right here, right? I mean, what is the other explanation? If it wasn't melted, how did that happen? Does that make
Well, they were monks. It's usually the monks that do it, and they need either solitude or they're trying to protect themselves from invading armies.
Well, how'd they get up there with them? Right? Oh,
They're
that's right.
magical monks. They flew on their flying carpets.
that same person she must not be named.
Yeah.
Would say that donkeys and giant horses help bring these things up there. But to what point? You know what I mean? It's like, it doesn't make any sense. So something
that
has
doesn't mean all mountains are melted buildings, though.
Right. Like this.
Watch it for you catch a brick.
Like, to me, this looks completely melted on this side.
Yeah.
Like, here's a column, and it's obviously
there,
messed up here. But the same column over here really got messed up.
This
and you're gonna say
explains the janky doorways.
You say it's water erosion, right? Well, why didn't it erode the rest of this? You know, it's
well, Petra isn't an arid area. It's desert-like. They barely get any rain.
Yeah. So, again, could we be wrong? Yeah. Do I feel I'm wrong? Absolutely not. But what's your theory? If this wasn't a fervent heat event, then what caused this? And if you think it was from heat, why? Why did it happen? I have an answer. Revelation happened as God said it would, and he speaks things and they melt like wax.
Right.
So I have an answer. But the people that want to shoot this theory down, they don't have an answer. This whole thing was the building. It's not a mountain that they climbed up here and carved these little holes. And that's the other thing. We're gonna have to do a whole thing on trees. Now, of course, you and I differ on what's that thing that's in Close Encounters? What's that one mountain?
Oh, the Devil's Tower.
Yeah. So you and I differ on that. Of course, that's fine, but I still see that as a tree stump. And the reason I see that is when we look at the trees now, if there wasn't a reset a couple hundred years or so ago, then how come there isn't a tree? If we're supposed to be millions of years old, where are the old trees? There isn't a tree on Earth that's more than like several hundred years old or so. That's it. I mean, I don't know what the oldest one is. Maybe it's a sequoia or something, and maybe 200-300. I don't know. But they don't go back tens of thousands of years. Where'd they go? All we get is this stuff. And so it's easy to make it look like it's just a mountain and it's a rock and it grew out of a crystal and blah, 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 because the trees grow over it. And, nature always finds a way to take things back. Look at this, Jen. Isn't this the best way to build this? Just like a half facade into the rock.
When you factor in the meltology itself, the whole topic, it explains so much, and it makes it kind of like just ties everything together. It's the huge piece to the puzzle that was missing, that we didn't realize was missing.
Right. And like who is it that just said it? Mr. Beast fan. They call it Devil's Tower for a reason. We're in Satan's little seasons. They're naming everything after the devil and Satan.
Yeah, a lot of these. I did a show called Geology and the Devil, and it was all about all the places, geological formations, and this kind of stuff that were named after the devil. The devil's backbone, the devil's punch bowl, the devil's spine, devil's, this, that, and the other thing. It's all over the place. It's like thousands across America alone, let alone, other places in the world and stuff. And it's all reset stuff, after the melt. These things got named that stuff, which makes sense if the judgment came after the millennial reign, but before the loosening of Lucifer for the short season.
Well, no, the judgment, then millennial reign, and then the short season.
And no, see, this is the way I kind of always looked at it myself, was judgment, millennial reign, 1,000 years of peace.
Right.
That stops. They go back or wherever they go.
And now we're here.
And then another judgment happens for whoever's left over or whatever. And then he's loosened for the short season. That's why I feel like 250 years ago being the beginning of the short season, somewhere between the end of the millennial reign, 1776, and the end of the millennial reign, somewhere in there seems to be a God's judgment, like within the last 500 years.
And I can't discredit or disprove that, because when you read the Bible, there's multiple times God has picked different cities or whatever and brought judgment on them. So was there another judgment? I can't say yes or no. I'm just going by the ones that are named. So, but definitely some judgments happen to these areas. You cannot convince me that this is a mountain. This was a building. You can see bricks going all the way through here, even down in here. It makes no sense unless you see this as it really is, a building that got melted by God's judgment, because there's no other explanation. I feel, weather doesn't do this. Look at these things. These two hollowed out staircases in the middle of nowhere. For what purpose?
Wow.
They don't go anywhere.
Right. Where's the rest of the building? What happened to it?
Right?
Just melted away.
If you look at the steps, there are even a little bit of melt to them, a little wonky.
Right. Yeah. That's the beautiful thing about it, though, is God left evidence of his judgment to see.
Absolutely.
And this is why they hid it from us. God's creation's always been here in front of our faces. If you've ever flown in a plane, you've seen the flat earth. You've flown in space. The space is between the ground and the dome. So there's that. And, it's in the Bible. It describes it. I mean, everything's always been here. It's always been left here. And everything that God has left for us to see and that we should have known, they have worked double time to hide, cover up, and put new narratives over.
And they say that Methuselah is the oldest living tree, and it's supposedly up to 5,000 years old.
It's called Methuselah?
Yeah.
Because Steve used to look into Methuselah. Isn't that like a not good thing?
I would have to look into that.
Yeah.
But that's the only one that they say. But the rest of them, most everything we see is not even close to that. It's just hundreds of years old. So where are all these ancient trees? You're telling me
Yeah.
there's only one left, and that one's only 5,000 years old. If the planet apparently is millions of years old, where'd they all go? They all died off with the dinosaurs? I mean, it doesn't make any sense, obviously. Look at this one.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Wow. That's a good one.
Because that's the best way to build this. And you can verify all these photos. All you have to do is run it through Google Lens, and it'll tell you where it is. So I don't just post a picture thinking it's AI. I looked at all of them, make sure that
You
they're
can see
actual.
the heat coming up from the bottom and chewing its way up this tower. The whole thing was brick. Okay, so this part of the tower underneath the roof part, the conical roof, was brick. It's already transitioned to like a bigger blocks, but lower where the transition line is, right there, the demarcation line of heat. It's a heat differential. The heat's chewing up from the bottom, and it's way worse below because that's where it's more intense. But it still rose up enough to transform the top half of this tower into this yellowish looking block. But it was all red brick at one time. And I'm sure if you examine it closely and walk around this thing, you'll see brick somewhere because everything is red brick. And that's another key thing that people need to know is everything was made of clay. We're made of the clay of the earth. And the clay of the earth itself seems to have been brick at one time.
Yeah. And when you look at this, I mean, you can see brick in here. You can see the outline of them.
Exactly.
So if you don't believe in the melt and you don't believe in God's judgment, then what are you saying? You're saying that somebody, they built this brick, but they started up here? And then what? How did you get in? You rock climbed your way into the window?
Yeah, make it make sense.
These are just the weeds. These are the trees that grow, the saplings and stuff that grow up,
The giants, sleeping giants, and the giant trees never got any pushback, really, right? But when you got the meltology and the heat and the God's judgment, right, then people all got a big problem with meltology. It's because they don't want to deal with God's judgment. But, if I say that this is water damage or something like that, or, this is the leg bone left over from a giant sticking up out of the ground and somebody decided to make a tower out of it, they'd be okay with it. But you say God's judgment did that, and it's meltology, there's a big problem.
And the chat's reminding us that Methuselah was Noah's father. And once he died, God said the flood would start after he died. So there's that.
Yeah, I think Methuselah was maybe something they worshiped before the flood thing. Maybe. I don't know. Steve was in all that. Wasn't it Methuselah? Did they show it like an octopus kind of thing?
No, you're talking about...
what is that one?
Oh, I can't think of it right now.
It's another weird name like that, though.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I can't think of it because he went off on it when they had that Pirates of the Caribbean and that guy had the face with it. Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely in there.
Look at this, Jen. Look at the bricks in here.
What's up, Juan? Did you just get here?
Yeah, we already talked about you, Juan Truth. So, yeah. Okay, what's next?
Red brick every day of the week. Even in Ape Cave, that's supposed to be a lava tube, there was red brick everywhere. There was so much red brick I couldn't even film it all.
Look at that one. Like, what would be the point of building that in the middle of this? And there's no
stairs. That just proves our point that this thing was a building. The whole thing was a building.
Right. And if you just saw this or the trees and stuff, but you didn't see the bricks in here, then you just think this grew out of the ground this way, and millions of years and crystal formations and blah, 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 and horses. Well, look at this.
There you go.
They built things funny back in the day.
That makes sense. Really. Oh, well, they just did some patchwork here and there and blah, blah, blah. This other civilization came along and said, let's patch this up and use it as a fort.
Yeah. Make it make sense. What's next? What about this one? Does it say they put brick in the rock under the arch?
My favorite one is Pompeii, because they say that Vesuvius destroyed that city and apparently turned their beautiful brick buildings to janky rock buildings.
Like, how did you get these bricks crammed in here?
They brought in an expert.
You just hammered them in. That's why they look all wonky.
They found an expert and used him.
Yeah, they're gonna build this brick arch, and
throw janky rock on top of it, because that's what you do.
Yeah, right? And then some brick in here, and then some more random rocks. Yeah. Like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you see the melt, you can't unsee it.
Once you see the melted bricks, you won't fall for their lame ass tricks.
All right, I've heard that on a channel before. I think it was yours. But that's the thing. So, okay. So if you can get to the point where you can agree that something melted this, give me your version other than Revelation that created it. And if you don't have one, well, then I'm going to stay exactly in my lane where I am right now with Jen and say that this was God's judgment and we are living in the little season. Because someone has to be at the end of the book. And, everybody, and I've upset, a lot of Christian fans. Look at this one. That's a complete city there. Come on.
Oh, wow. That's a good one.
And I've upset some Christian fans talking like this. Like, no, God's judgment's on its way. But why can't they want to so desperately be the people in Revelation, the beginning of it? Why? There's going to be somebody at the end of the book, after it all shakes out and the millennial reign, there's people left to be deceived in the little season. Why can't we be those people? Why is it so horrible to say that out loud, that we might be those people? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and these people, a lot of these people will admit that, they fudged the timeline. Something's not right with certain, eras and stuff. Maybe but when you talk about where we're at in this timeline of this, maybe the final judgment coming up, because that's what we're in line for after the short season is over. And yes, we are in the short season, but not only that, we are at the end, the very, 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 very end. Okay. That's why you see what's happening. Yeah. All the pieces to this game is going back in the box, and they're exposing everything that they've done. It's all out there for everybody to see, because they don't care anymore, because the game's over and now you got to pay your dues. And I think a lot of people don't want to deal with that.
And one of the things God says is Satan's going to mess with time. So he's made people that are even awake to the fact that the Bible is real and we're living in it. He's made those people believe we're in a different timeline.
Yeah, trust me, guys. This is one party you don't want to be tardy to. Okay, the final judgment is coming, and you need to be prepared and get right. And they want you unprepared, because he wants more souls, less souls to go to heaven as he can get to come with him. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, he's the author of confusion. So he's got everyone confused. He's got a lot of people that don't want to read the Bible. He's got a lot of people that think that Jesus isn't the only way, the truth, and the life. He's got a lot of people that believe in that, thinking that we're heading to Revelation. And some of those people think they're going to get raptured out of here, which none of that's biblical in my mind. Yeah, there's a few passages you can connect to. But overall, Jesus says that we're going to go through the things he did. Mm-hmm. He says that we're going to go through this. And why would we want to leave? Like, it's not very Jesus-like to think that, well, when the judgment's coming, I won't worry because I'll be out of here and I'll be, kicking my feet with Jesus in heaven and stuff. Meanwhile, what? Your family, your friends, your loved ones and stuff, they're going to go through it. You don't care? Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Why would you think that way? Yeah, we're all exhausted. We're all tired. We all want to go home. But at the same time, we have a job to do here. Yeah. We're not just supposed to sit here and watch Netflix. We're supposed to be proactive in helping others find God, in helping others see the truth or the lies of the world and the truth in God. We're here for that reason. How you do it, that's up to you. You all have to figure your own path. Jen and I do it through these channels and other ways in our personal life. It doesn't mean you have to stand on a street corner with a sign. Unless God put that in your heart, you could do that too. But we all have a job to do. And once you've been touched by God and eyes have been opened, your free will is, what are you going to do with that information?
Exactly. And that's another thing I don't understand is how people could, some people get it and they're awake, or maybe they, They totally get it, but they don't do anything with the information. Like for them, it's just good enough that they know, and maybe they don't want to be rejected or ostracized by their family in any way. So they don't harness that boldness that's welling up in them. They'll stifle it down to go along to get along, but they know the truth. Well, the only thing that evil needs to prevail is for good men and women to stand by and do nothing. And in the final judgment, you're going to probably be asked, what have you done? Did you stand by and do nothing? We had the information, but you were too scared to say anything. Was Jesus too scared? You were too scared to be persecuted by your friends, your family, and everybody that you know in your vicinity, because it always is that way, guys. It's everybody around you, your loved ones, and all your friends, and your coworkers, and people who shut you down, don't want to hear it. You have to go outside those circle of people, like we all have, to find like-minded people who talk about this, who want to talk about it, and keep going with it. Not saying that you don't ever turn back to those people. They know you're out there, and they're choosing not to listen. I mean, you can bring a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. At the end of the day, they have to accept the truth for themselves. But I will never stop talking about the truth, ever.
No, we can't. It's been put on our hearts to do this. God says that you're supposed to be a candle up and where people can see it. You don't put it away where no one can. And so I'm not going to go out there and beat people up and try to convince them. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show them the experiences that I've seen, the things that I've experienced through finding God, and how my life has changed for the better, and lead by example. And so the best thing I can do is that. And if they decide to take that information, that's on them. You're not, like you say, you can't force them into it. Where is he? As Suitcase says, where'd he go? I've lost Suitcase. Dang, he's gone. Shoot. Wait.
Once you realize where you're at in the timeline and you digest that, and you're
wait. I gotta hit you with the Suitcase.
Information's out there. All you have to do is let it in.
That's what we do. We present this information, and it's up to them to let it in.
But you're also okay with the situation. I'm totally okay with where we're at in this timeline. Okay. Have I asked for forgiveness? Yes. Do I still need a lot of work? Yes. Have I done things in my life that could probably send me straight to hell? Sure. But, I'm still excited for where we're at. I know that, after this final judgment, there's a new heaven and a new earth. Mm-hmm. And whether I'm deserving of that new heaven and new earth or not, I feel like I've done what I came here to do and do my part, even if I don't make it there. And I'm okay with that too. Yeah. It takes a really strong person, a strong spirit to get there. And people don't understand it when I talk like that. And a lot of people don't want to hear it. Even my mom be like, stop saying that. Even the thought of dying, I'm okay with dying. I'm not afraid of death. I do not fear it. Whether I'm going to heaven or hell, I don't fear it. And I know I'm not from here. I'm not of this earth.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, and I know what you're saying, and it's hard for people to grasp if they haven't made that connection. But once you've made your connection to God, and He's there and He has your back, you don't fear death. You don't wish for it. Obviously, I'm supposed to be here with my loved ones and do whatever I'm supposed to until God's ready. And then when He's ready for me to come home, then He'll take me home. But until then, I don't have fear of it anymore, because the worst thing that you could do to me at that point, if I die, is I go home, and I get to be with God and the loved ones and anybody that, and at the end of the day, you got to remember this. There's people that argue and fight over this. How do you get into heaven? Is it through works or is it through faith? And what I believe, it's faith. By God's grace. And so your faith allows you to see that you need to do works, because you're supposed to do both. You're not supposed to be congratulated because you're doing the right thing and doing the works. That's just, you have to do it. When God changes your heart, you have to do the works. It's not because any other reason than you just feel like, you know what I mean? It's hard.
Oh my gosh, it's so compelling when it happens. Like, I've never had that kind of passion and drive about anything in my life. When I woke up in 2005 started this journey down this road of truth and where it's led me. I mean, it's just like I completely changed inside. Like I was just like something switched on. And I can see now in hindsight, looking back, that the way it all unfolded and everything, and the course that I took, that, you know, I'm definitely on my purpose, what I came here to do. I'm doing my part. And I am so grateful that to be able to do this. And it's like nothing I've ever done in my whole life.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, once he's changed your heart, then you get compelled to do these things, just because you'd feel. I guess the Jewish side of me, if I feel guilty if I didn't. And like you said, we're in the short season. At the end of it, there's the final judgment, and that's where you sit in front of God, and He opens a book and says, "All right, explain yourself."
Mm-hmm.
and at least I could say, okay, I see those chapters you're talking about. I was an idiot, but did you look at the last chapters that I did? I was doing some pretty good things. Like maybe that helps, but at the end of the day, it's still by His grace. But I do believe if we are doing this work that we're doing, and it's not easy, it's not fun, it's not easy at all. Your family, your friends, they ostracize you. They think you're nuts. They tolerate you if they really love you, but they don't listen. They don't believe in what you're saying. And just like, here's my best example of the fact that Jesus is our salvation, is the saints. Any one of them could have denounced God, because Peter had already done it, right? Any one of them could have denounced God and not get horribly killed. But they didn't. They went to their deaths, to really horrible deaths, because they wouldn't do that. And so why would you do that if it's not true? It's because they couldn't live a lie and they couldn't denounce God. And so that's what we feel. The reason we do these things, even at our own, demise of our, relationships and stuff, it's because we have to. Now, can I go to my work that I'm at and start talking like this? Absolutely not.
You have to know to pick your battles. Yeah, you learn that. When you get this knowledge, with this knowledge comes wisdom. But you get that through experience. And I had to learn the hard way a few lessons along the way, and I've honed my skills. It doesn't start out like that.
Yeah, and I think he's talking about, they're supposedly, if you believe that we're heading to Revelation, they have to build a third temple, which they've been saying forever. I'm starting to believe totally that this building of the third temple is like saying we're going to the moon and Mars. They just keep putting it off and putting it off. They've been doing it forever. They're going to build this third temple. Let's say they finally build this third temple, and then they have to start sacrificing again. So then what? They can stop sacrificing.
Yeah, but didn't they just sacrifice something not too long ago?
But if it doesn't fit the exact parameters, then
right.
It's not
but
true.
say if Lucifer has screwed with this scripture and stuff like that to confuse the timeline. Oh well, wait, we can't really be in that spot because look, they haven't sacrificed a red heifer yet, or some stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's hard to say at this point, but it's obvious to me. Here we are.
So they're gonna build a third temple, start sacrificing, so they can stop sacrificing. Because they haven't sacrificed in thousands of years. It's already happened. But no, we're going to believe that they're going to do it again just to stop it.
I don't think they've ever
trying to make the narrative fit the church dispensationalism is really difficult to do. Whereas if you believe that all that happened, maybe in 70 AD or whenever it did, then it fits so much easier. It's way smoother to just keep on going once you get past that. And where did that come from? That came out of the church. The church tells you this is happening. The church tells you you're being raptured. The church told us all this. The beautiful thing, I think, the reason that God woke my eyes up, being a young Jewish boy that read the Torah and didn't know the Bible or Jesus, is because now with my opened eyes, I can see where they're in error, where they're still waiting for the Messiah. And so will a lot of other people. And it's part of this whole deception, is that once you break free from that, and I didn't have the dogma of that church teaching me the wrong way. I mean, I'd heard it, but it wasn't ingrained in me like it is in a lot of people. And that's partly why I get such pushback when I start talking about these subjects from Christian groups, is because they don't want to listen to it. But it's the same as flat earth, talking to people that wanted to believe we were flying through space. It's not an easy subject to break free from. But once you break free from it, I mean, unless you're a fake, like, you know, the flat earth group we were in, you don't go back. You can't unsee it. You can't longer just explain away the curvature and all the things that they used to talk about. Suddenly they don't believe in any of it, and they love NASA and they think they're not liars. I mean, it's nuts. They were there to deceive people as everything else.
Yeah.
But once you actually see it, you can't go back.
Yeah, and we didn't ask for this. I mean, it's not like I said, oh, I want to wake up one day and know all this information and be, you know, hated and scorned and, you know, ostracized from family and friends and all this stuff. It's just, we've been called out like apostles to do this. And I wouldn't have it any other way.
No, and that's the other amazing thing. When this happened, at least to me, and probably you felt the same way. You wake up and you go, why? I don't want to know this. Why did I have to? Why am I living in the revelation period of the Bible? Like, why couldn't I just live my life, raise kids, have a nice life, retire, whatever, and die like you were supposed to? But now we realize that's all a lie. And there's a bigger purpose, and God's here. We're not flying through space. And you wake up and you go, oh, this sucks. I don't want to be here and all that. But then once you get past that and you realize, well, it's not an accident that we're here. There's only a few options, I believe. Either somehow we're wherever we were with God and we're like, hey, put me in, coach. I want to be in there for this. Because when you read the Bible, they're all asking constantly, when are these days coming? You know? And so why would we want to choose here? Because we chose it, or God saw something in us we might not even know yet. Like some of us aren't even like ready to get to the point where God wants us to be. But he chose us, every one of us, to be in this exact moment. And what a blessing that is when you see it.
I think it's the most exciting time to be alive, to tell you the truth.
Amen.
Short
season
thing here.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Because we could have lived the rest of our lives like a lot of people are. And
live in a lie.
Live a lie and not ever see it. And what a blessing that we see it. Okay, Mad Pax, I saw. I didn't hit. Look at this. He did 2 of them. Thank you. God bless you.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we are cool, Mad Pax. And here's another one. Thank you. See, the people are wonderful to us. I'm very, very appreciative of our audience. They're very loving.
Thank you. Thank you for that compliment. I appreciate that.
Right? That's why we're like the only 2 left. Like most everyone.
We really are, guys.
They're all gone. They're all flying through space on a ball again.
You'll know them by their fruits, and their fruits are spinning in space again.
Yeah, yeah. And their feet. We'll know them by their feet, too.
It's their big bang. That right there alone should tell you something. They say space is a vacuum. There's no noise in space. Yet they say we came from what? A big bang.
The big bang.
The big bang that you can't hear in the silence of space.
And yet I constantly play. They have all these different planets and things that are making noise. And they constantly send this to us now. Like
you can't have a fire in space because there's no air. Yet they show the sun as being some flaming ball.
Yeah. Which happens to be the exact distance away, and the exact size difference.
Oh, well, why do they match up? Because they're the exact distance and proximity. That's like a cop telling me. I say, why are your windows so dark? But I'm getting a ticket for my 10. He says, my windows aren't dark. They just look dark.
Yeah, like,
right. Your windows are past the limit. I said, do I got stupid tattooed across my head?
Oh, Tobin's in here. Hey, Tobin. So, yeah, but there's fart noise in space, and then they say that there's gas coming out of Uranus. I mean,
there you go. It's all about sex. If you look at space, it's about spinning balls, the Milky Ways, the happy ending. You got penis rockets going up in the black holes.
Yep.
Space sex. Come on.
Right. It's all right there.
They just went up in a penis rocket recently.
Yeah. All those questionable women. They were discussing it while you were gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go check. I had a clip
really on that plate.
I had a picture from the 10,000 BC or something with Raquel Welch, and she looks like a girl, but there's a lot of sus people in the rest of the cast.
Very sussy.
They've been doing that forever, trying to confuse people. It's more the
He's a
confusion.
great deceiver. He deceiveth the world. And if you go forth and deceive the world and you get a big audience, like you could broadcast your deception, then you're higher up in the ranks and you're emulating your God, which what he does. Jesus go forth and preach to the nations, brings the good news. Well, Lucifer goes forth and deceives the nations. So that's what they're, who worship him, they go forth and do the same thing.
Right? Where's my guys? I feel like that needed a drop. I can't hear you.
That's very true.
Yeah.
So
the Mandela necklace on today, but yeah, it's my love necklace turned to save.
So I don't know. I asked you like 20 minutes before the show. Do you have anything you wanted to discuss, or?
I'm just here for the jokes.
You're just here for the jokes?
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent.
Oh, I do have some pictures from the 50s era of stuff, like the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s of just people and stuff. Weird stuff, like big hairdos and weird dresses and stuff. There's no tranny stuff in it. At least,
good.
I don't know for sure, but I'm not looking at it for that reason.
All right. No
You wanna
music
check it out?
and loud talking. Yeah, let's look at some of them.
Okay.
And I definitely think, there's so many new people watching us now. I definitely think we need to do a show about like the lives of like the Civil War and stuff and all that.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't covered that in a while. So we'll do that soon.
Okay, so this is there's no title. It's just like crazy pictures.
Okay. You ready? I'll put it up when you're ready.
All right.
There you go.
Well,
Whoa.
that's quite a dress. 1960, Thanksgiving dinner. Anita
Eckerberg. Yeah.
She's
Not sure why you're showing that
right
one,
there.
but it's got my attention. So, all right.
Should we zoom in on that one?
No, we're good. What
Okay. Just checking.
that's what you wanted to show?
Okay, this is the 40s. Look at how people dressed in the 40s. I'm drawn to this era here, the 40s, by the way. Yeah. I mean, these people actually cared about how they look when they went out.
I know. It's fascinating. My wife likes to watch these auditors, and they go into like city halls and stuff, and they're in like sweatpants and the worst ones, they're in like these stretch kind of workout pants that don't even look like they're wearing pants. It's like,
what happened to this lady? Oh, sunglasses. She had 2 black eyes. Go ahead.
no, it's just they don't take pride in dressing anymore.
Oh yeah, it's nasty out there.
People wear like pajama pants and stuff too. It's not.
Oh yeah. Let's go into Walmart after 9 o'clock at night. If you think during the day is bad, go in after 9 o'clock at night. But be prepared, because there's some things in life you can't unsee.
No, I'm good. I'm all set, as Steve would say. Can you?
Yeah, I'm all set. Look at these 2.
Can you zoom in on the cop?
Damn it, man. I'd say, I don't know. What do you guys think? Look at the cop.
Yeah,
Go
can you
over
go
here.
on the cop?
Like checking their butts out.
We'll go back to the cop. When you look at what the cops are wearing now, it's like they're going to war. This guy's just in a regular outfit and maybe has a gun, and that's it. Like now they've got just like they geared up like they're heading to the front lines or something. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm. They got their stilettos on.
Yeah. That's the other thing. When we did go to, okay, you're just getting risque pictures.
I don't know. Hey, these women in the 50s, they just let it all hang out. I don't know what's going on here. 1953. This is, I don't know what this is. I guess it's, what are these things? I don't even know. That's crazy looking. There's a guy walking down here. What are these things that go in the water? Like, are they mines or something?
I think those are mines or something.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It sure is. 1953. What's it for?
Huh.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just showing pictures. Life magazine. There it is. That's crazy. Wow.
I don't know.
The Wizard of Oz illustration. 1900? Is that what that's supposed to be? Huh. Okay. Well, the brick road there, the yellow brick road. Oh, look at this.
There we go. Now
wow.
They call it bouffant hairs, right?
Oh, that's crazy. You can hide a whole hammer up in there.
Goodness. Yeah, you could put a bottle of wine in there and have a really
Yikes.
nice time on ladies' night, you know?
Yeah, right, for sure.
And they say that because of all that Aquanet spray, and that's what put a hole in the ozone. But then all of a sudden,
they had us believe in that too.
yeah, and then that's gone. Nobody talks about that anymore. At one point, I even heard, like, Australia, good eye mites, that there was a hole in the ozone so much they couldn't even go out of the beach anymore. But we don't hear about that anymore.
Yeah, I guess it healed itself.
Yeah.
Oh, that's an advertisement.
Yeah, we're good. You're funny. It's like
okay, what do we got here? Coney Island, Luna Park, 1903, has 250,000 electric lights.
With no explanation how they put them up, who changes them when they go out, where they stored them. Nothing.
I guess what, guys? 1903, this says. The extension cord was not invented and patented till 1906, and that's just patented, not widely distributed and manufactured. So there's that. There's no extension cords. How'd they do all this?
Yeah, all the hairspray's in space now. Yeah, exactly. Who manufactured all these bulbs, Jen?
That's what I want to know. Just look at it.
Yeah, Aquanet was the best, right? The perm days. Beehives. Yeah, that's what they call
them. Yeah, those beehive hairdos.
Yeah.
All right, what do we got here? Smoke rising from an oil well just south of Oklahoma State Capitol in Oklahoma City, February 1937. All right. Okay. Interesting. Never saw that picture before.
Yeah.
Look at all the oil wells back here, dude. Look.
Oh my goodness.
This looks like Huntington Beach, California. If you look up the early 30s, 20s, Huntington Beach, California, looks just like this.
And what is this place? What is this? I didn't.
This is Oklahoma. Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plains.
Yeah, that's where the guy allegedly built a building, and did you see this? There's a comparison. He looks just like some FBI agent. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah. Oh, what do we got here? What is this?
Cool car. And you know what? They've made our cars look so bad nowadays. There's no style to them. There's no color. All the colors are muted. What is this? Iron bars over the windows?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of windows those are.
I thought that was a cat. It's just a weird looking dog.
It's a weird looking dog. It's a weird looking car, but it's cool.
I would take that car.
I would drive it. I'd drive that shit till the wheels fell off.
Right? Oh, there we go. We've shown this a bunch of times.
1893, the first, Chicago World's Fair, Nikola Tesla and George Westinghouse awed the world by lighting up the area, winning the battle of the currents, and providing AC was safer and more efficient than Edison's DC current. From this point on, our modern grid was built around AC. Okay.
And then 6 months later, they tore it down, right?
Let me just say this. I challenge anybody out there to find pictures of Westinghouse, of Edison, or Tesla at this fair with their new inventions, turning them on, showing people, or just even standing near them, representing them. You will not find any pictures of these people at this fair.
Yeah, they never showed up. But that's so interesting. Yeah.
Yet they lit the world for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, everyone liked the car. That was a cool car.
$6 million man and the Beatles? What?
No, that never happened.
Heck is that?
I was up on both of those. They never got together.
They never got George Harrison and Paul McCartney with a tree.
That almost feels like an AI creation. Now, the $6 million man did fight Bigfoot, but it turned out it was a robot from space.
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm deep into this. I'm deep into this stuff.
I was watching that other show. What was it called?
Oh yeah, you're watching the Andy Griffith Go into Space show,
yeah,
which didn't exist on my timeline. So whatever.
I can't think of what it's called right now. Well, that's it for that site.
All right. Well, that's pretty.
That's all I got.
All right, I give you that. That was fun.
Keeping it light, guys.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh, it was called Salvage One.
Yeah, Salvage One. Most ridiculous thing. Andy Griffith builds a rocket ship in his backyard out of scrap metal to go into space to bring back junk to sell it for scrap. Like, what the? Who was high when they wrote that thing?
I don't know. I was into it though.
Yeah, again, I didn't even know that show existed.
It's like 77, I think it came out. 78.
I don't even think it did. I think it's a Mandela.
He had a car phone too back then in his car.
And now I'm on
driving in his car.
He had a car phone.
Phone.
Yeah, I think it was that first episode or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm on your timeline now because it didn't exist beforehand, and now it does.
I'm the only one who remembers that show.
I think you were, but now everyone's aware of it because we keep talking about it. You made me watch it though.
Put one in the chat if you've seen Salvage One back when you were younger. It had to be like the late 70s. Salvage One. Andy Griffin was in it.
Let's see. Salvage One TV show. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Marcus says I'm 55.
I was a latchkey kid. I watched a lot of TV. This never made it to my radar.
It never made it over to the West Coast, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. See, they even write, do you remember Salvage One?
It's an East Coast thing.
Yeah.
It was for select areas.
Yeah. A flight to the moon on a junkyard spaceship.
Yeah.
And it was on between 9 and it was a 2-hour show. My goodness. Oh, that first one was a 2-hour movie. That's the one I
it was like that was the pilot, and it went on like kind of, and then after that he would go on these other missions, and then try to help people that were stuck up there, like the recently how that went down, and then he'd go up and get other stuff. Oh, there's a Russian satellite, and it could crash into Earth, and well, he's gonna go up and get it.
I didn't go deep enough into the show to see them build this robot. They had a robot. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's news to me.
It was advanced.
Yeah, they were very advanced. There it is. That's his amazing machine he built out of garbage in his backyard.
Tinkering around in his junkyard.
Dude, they totally had a robot. That's cool. So.
Yeah, I don't see any ones, so I guess I'm the only one.
I'm telling you,
I think Red Storm might remember it.
You brought this to our timeline, Jen. Nobody was aware of it.
I did.
Yeah. I don't think it existed.
Yeah, because you were talking about Andy Griffin, and you're like, after this show, he never did any more shows. And I'm like, oh, no, he was in Salvage One. And you're like,
and I'm like, are you high? You really are flying to the moon.
That was a funny night.
It's fantastic. So. But yeah, look at this. They had shows back then. Kate Loves a Mystery, Hookers by Day, Housewives by Night, NBC, Proud as a Peacock. And then Jen looks at this and goes, I see an Adonis belt. Oh, goodness.
But she's hot. Yep, but I see an Adonis belt.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
And nobody remembers, but back in the day, it was fun. You get the TV guide, and in these ads you had to decide what you were going to watch.
And the Reader's Digest.
Yeah. But like when you had, oh, look, they even have, what is that? Oh, I thought it was Salvage One. Yeah, look at this, Salvage One. No, that's Reagan. But when you had the TV guide, you had to choose a show because you couldn't record anything. So either you watched one and hope you could catch the other one on a summer rerun. But anyway.
Yep.
Okay, enough of that nonsense.
Yep.
Okay. We put in 2 hours. I think the people got their money's worth, hopefully. And thanks, Jen.
No problem. Thank you for having me on. It was fun.
Well, again, this show probably wouldn't have made it if I didn't have you to bounce ideas off of. So thank you so much.
What can I say?
That's right. That's right. Hot flashes and
no,
all.
I'm very humble to be here. Thank you.
All right. Well, everyone, God bless you. Thank you for being here and all the support that we've been given in. And we'll continue to do this as best we can and throughout the coming days and years. So may God watch over all of us here right now, listening to the sound of my voice. May he keep us safe and help us through these times with love and joy in our hearts. And thank you for allowing us to be here in these times, dear Lord. And we know that we have a purpose, even if we haven't figured it out yet. Please continue to guide us and show us how we can help benefit others that are struggling and others that are not even awake to the ideas that we're speaking. Let us continue to speak our truth with love and joy in our hearts. And may God bless them to open their eyes one day and join us so that we can all go home in his loving arms, as we all yearn to do one day. And thank you for the blessings of allowing us to reach people, to continue to bring more people into the fold and find the lost sheep. And we thank you for this moment in time. In Jesus' name, amen. And protect us from evil.
From evil.
Okay. And Jen says,
the only thing that evil needs to prevail is for good men and women to stand by and do nothing. Let it not be said that we stood by and did nothing. I love you guys, and we are out of here.
Absolutely. God bless you, Jen. Thank you again for being here.
Yeah.
And thank you for everyone in the chat and anybody that's going to be watching this later. We really appreciate you all. So, having said that, you get two things. We dismissed the class with a knife in its leg.
Class is dismissed.
Okay, and then we will see you all again soon. I'm not sure when, but if not, maybe by next Friday we'll do this again. And so at that point, we're going to play the song. It's either the saddest outro or it's a fun outro, and we'll do this again.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
I'm the satellite.
500 years ago, everybody knew the Earth was flat.
Satellite transfer complete.